Nate Ross is, and always has been, a force to be reckoned with.
In my mind, he's kind of like the Cal Ripken of the JCC. I can't think of anybody that has been as involved and as passionate about the J.
When I think of Nate Ross, I think of an extremely committed individual.
He's inspiring to everybody. He's a sportsman and a friend, a volunteer and a leader.
The word loyalty just comes to mind. That was really the focus of his life, was trying to help build the community.
So Nate shared with me that as a child he didn't have any experience like a JCC until he visited Portland on an AZA trip, and he walked into the Portland JCC, and he told me it was like he had died and gone to heaven. I think Nate carried that feeling, and that inspired him to help create a place like that. Nate was a member of the founding board of the J.
He found himself part of a group of contemporaries, people like Sam Stroum and Herb Rosen, and he stood with them shoulder to shoulder.
I think they saw that commitment as something deeper than just the JCC. They saw it as a commitment to the entire Jewish community and the Jewish people.
Being a community leader is important, but equally important is being here. Nate Ross is one of those guys that day in and day out lives and breathes the JCC.
I started playing lunchtime basketball 25 years ago, and that's when I first met Nate, when he was a young man in his late 50s or early 60s.
I always had a grudging admiration and respect for his grit and tenacity on the court.
When you wanted to see somebody get embarrassed, you would put a young guy on Nate.
No one knows where that hook shot came from, but it's a sinker all the time.
Just to see a guy come out there every day, Nate's longevity was really inspiration to all of us. Being one of the early members and founders of the J has impacted thousands of people.
And inspired people in both his generation and younger to join him.
When you think about the JCC, you do think about Nate.
Nate in many ways is the story of the J.
Nate was one of those guys that never really showed his emotions too much, but there was a quiet sense of pride.
The J is infinitely better because of Nate's participation and presence.
The community today looks quite different than when Nate was younger, but the need for an institution like the J has never been greater, and those who are picking it up now are building on that foundation that was created for them by the Nate Rosses of the world.